Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Worldwide Review Series for the 7th of February 1993. We've got about 20 more of these from this era, and then we can go back and get some others. But at least 20 more to check out for your listening pleasure here. We've got close to 1,400 audios available. Tex Slazenger, Shanghai Pierce against Eric Watts and Dustin Rhodes here. Watts with a bunch of hip tosses and drop kicks on his adversaries. Watts being severely overpushed at the time, but it is what it is. Rhodes comes in, hooks up with Shanghai, gets a couple of shots in, including some hip tosses, basic stuff along the way, and ultimately leads to a couple of clotheslines, hard uppercut by Rhodes. Rhodes with the Irish whip, drop kick under the chin. Doesn't get all he wants on it, but gets enough. Then we see Rhodes with the Irish whip again, and for the most part, Rhodes is on his way to success in the area by summer of this year, and they also do get a bulldog and a victory for the team. Go to Eric Bischoff in the WCW magazine area. Barry Windham talks about the talk that Ric Flair's coming back and he doesn't really care. Then there's the music video from Too Cold Scorpio that we've talked about other places. Too Cold Scorpio being hyped as one of the, I wouldn't say complete newcomers, but at the same time, a guy that everyone should pay attention to for the time period. The music video basically hyping him as a guy that kids can look up to. Collar elbow tie up with Scorpio and his opponent, The Shadow, who's in cargo pants and a mask. So nothing very intelligent here. Toss to the outside. Scorpio hits a couple of drop kicks and a 450 splash for the victory. Innovative for the time, Scorpio becomes a major force over the next year or so in the area. Then we move to another enhancement talent match. Basic stuff here. This time Max Payne and Robbie V, aka what ends up being Rob Van Dam, with a couple of shots. Max Payne, of course, a pretty impressive guy. Hard shots on Van Dam and a snap suplex gets him over. Max Payne, relatively new to the area at the time, coming forward and eventually getting another suplex followed by an armbreaker armbar submission hold, the painkiller. Sting promises to get even with Vader at Super Brawl 3 in the White Castle of Fear, which basically amounts to a strap match. Review of the King of Cable match at the Starrcade pay-per-view from December. Vader promises to annihilate Sting and feel no pain, fear no man, going forward into the pay-per-view in a couple of weeks. Barry Windham, who's looking a bit chunky, a couple of weeks away from winning the NWA title. Here he is up against Johnny Gunn in a singles match. Gunn, of course, goes on to be Sal Sincere, and some arm drags, really basic stuff. Wyndham has the man staying on his arm and is pretty aggressive, assertive throughout the early stages of the contest. Leaping DDT is a victory for Wyndham, and he gets the win. Promises to win the NWA Championship from Great Muta. Promises that there is no one that's worthy of challenging him for that championship, and also furthers his feud with Dustin Rhodes. Rhodes tries to come out and interfere. Doesn't get all he wants there. Super Brawl Control Center leads us in next with some hype for upcoming matches. Then we go to Flying Brian and Stunning Steve Austin as the new team to be beaten on the heel side anyway. And we kind of go around with that for a little while. The team of Marcus Bagwell and Marcus Bagwell, I believe, and Shane Douglas coming out here next. But anyway, Steamboat not to be found there for a minute. Pillman jump starts the match, and Bagwell rolls Pillman up with a quick near fall and gets an upset victory there. Actually, in a one-on-one situation is what that amounts to. Bagwell gets the victory, and the Steve Austin comes back and goes full Hollywood Blondes on Bagwell. Their tag match comes up a bit later in the next few weeks here as Bagwell gets an advantage there. Needless to say, we go to another enhancement talent match. This time, or actually a main event style match. Rick Rude not out here, but Paul Orndorff is. And Vader is his tag partner for the day. Ron Simmons out there with Sting as his tag partner. So trying to do something different for Worldwide. Of course, Simmons and Vader having their issues. Sting and Vader moving towards Super Brawl main event. Paul Orndorff also promising to get rid of Sting for Vader, so that kind of continues. Orndorff coming back to the promotion just a little while before. Harley Race on the outside, and it's odd because backstage issues between Vader and Orndorff are the reason that Vader's actually let go from WCW a few years later. Talk about ironies there. Kick to the underside, and we see Simmons hook up on a headlock by on Orndorff and works the headlock for a couple of minutes. Harley Race on the outside, yelling right along that he wants damage to be done to both Sting and Simmons. Sting comes in with a drop kick and a couple clotheslines on Vader. Vader goes down. Sting, of course, the number one babyface at the time, and sends Vader over the top rope and to the arena floor with a clothesline. Then we see Vader tag off to Orndorff, and Orndorff goes at it with Simmons. The TV title tournament ends within the next few weeks, and Orndorff is your victor. We'll get there when we get there, though. Tag off to Vader, and Simmons is still in the ring. Match is pretty decent, worth going out of your way to see. Nothing necessarily historic, but at the same time, good tag psychology throughout. Sting hits a Stinger Splash in the corner on Vader and gets an advantage for himself. Big Samoan drop by Sting on Vader, which is impressive to see just from a power perspective. The referee goes down, and the leather strap is brought in by Vader and eventually used by Sting on Harley Race. Race is laid out and strapped a few times by Sting, and the idea of the dangerous nature of the strap is driven home. Vader jumps Sting from behind and hangs him over the top rope with the strap, and several referees come out to close the show. Then we will be moving on to the next program here, but that is what we have for this moment. We'll be back with more right after this.